This looks like Tommy Shelby is displeased with my review. I'll be nice. It's a good season. Don't hurt me. A new season of Peaky Blinders is out, and I was ready for all the Irish gangsters, rock songs, whiskey, and slow motion that makes me wonder how they ever get anywhere on time, but I was not expecting this.
If you still need a way out, here are 6 of them.
And this is not even the lowest point of Tommy this season. And we've just started. Episode 1 has a great start, but from that point on, this is kind of cheesy. And that's saying something considering it's Peaky Blinders.
Gina's coming to London, Michael. Well, I will be happy to show the sights.
Anya Taylor-Joy has way too much screen time this season. Her character continues to be an irritant and nothing else. She's not intimidating, she's not cool. I can't take her cursing seriously at all. When I watch this, I am hyper aware that she's an actress.
Do you have any idea of how far he's risen? All the way to the fucking top.
Yeah, she can't. I can't believe I'm saying this. I never knew people could be bad at swear words. When Tommy turns around, she immediately turns and gets upset, and all I could think about was this bit from Anchorman. Except here, she kicks the radio and it turns on. What is she, the fucking Fonz? There's a lot being set up in this episode. The actual plot, I think, works as far as setting up Michael as an enemy, actually setting up several enemies. It's the delivery in some of these scenes and some of these performances that really crank up the corniness in a way that I don't think is effective. I have to rank this episode a 5 out of 10. Well, this picked up. 5 minutes into this episode, we have a well-written conversation where Lizzie breaks down Tommy's entire persona in a few words. This is followed up by one of the most shocking moments in the entire series, where Tommy has a full-blown seizure. We've seen the man suffer before, mentally and physically, but there was never a point where he stopped looking cool. It sets a new tone for the season. Later on, a certain situation escalates, and it's depicted in a surprisingly creepy way.
Voices
Oh god.
coming from up the chimney. The Rain Man.
Nah. Get out of that house. I guess they haven't really seen horror movies yet, so they don't know this. Plus, they're white, so even if this was modern day, they'd probably stick around. You know, maybe get the camera on, get some home videos. Mosley is back! Also known as the best part of the stumbling drunk that was season 5. And it's only fitting that his reintroduction here be so well put together.
Dark up. Bluer. Sharper.
Now that he has Diana, his mistress/partner in crime, Tommy has to put up with unsubtle barbs twice as much.
Goodness. What year do you think this is, Mr. Shelby? 1807?
Oh, in Birmingham, the centuries grind by quite slowly.
God, what a pain in the ass they are. Everything is simply better in this episode. The music, the cinematography, the pacing. 9 out of 10. This is one of the best they've ever done. This is my favorite Ada season ever. This is her at her best.
In this moment, in this room, it is the Shelby family that holds the power, because we have the information and the incentives that will make Mr. Nelson do what you require him to do. So when I speak, please keep your fucking mouths closed, because although I'm reluctant, I am actually quite good at this.
And this scene with Ada and Diana is very entertaining. But then Nelson and Gina show up, the latter doing her best impression of Beedrill. Everything just drops.
Oh, before these dull introductions begin, I just have to tell you something that my niece Gina...
He's prairie dogging his accent. Just...
You know, I did some research on you too, Mr. Nelson.
Ada here is the smart one of the family.
What a worthless line. They can't give her anything good to say.
When you were young, you lost a brother and a sister to consumption.
Right between the sentences, you hear that passive-aggressive clunk of the guy getting him a drink.
Consumption.
Fuck you. I find it fascinating that the family soothsayer, Polly, is gone, and yet this is the most darkly spiritual season yet. It's as if she were holding curses at bay. Granted, the subplot with Esme is a little dull, at least right now, but the payoff, which I won't dare spoil, was well worth the time spent. And the theme of gold as a solution, chemically and economically, was kind of brilliant. I'll give this one an 8 out of 10. Who knew that a cappella and a funeral would match so well? The scene itself is also great. It's so empty. Tommy gives his speech, his voice is breaking, and the only thing he hears back is the occasional creak of metal and a gentle wind. You know, like any comedy routine at the Oscars.
So many kids watch these movies over and over and over and over and over and over.
When Tommy pays some gypsies a visit after, it's not heroic or sexy or awesome. It's a blunt execution that he doesn't even like. The glamour of this business, of being the wounded gangster that women love and men want to be, is gone forever. I could talk for an hour about the conversation between Tommy and Arthur in the barrel room. It's like the show knows the dialogue is good enough to let it breathe and not get too intrusive with the music. Pay attention to how this scene is shot and who is talking.
We do indeed.
And pay attention to the music.
Indeed have things for you to whisper into the president's ear.
Tell him we are England. We are the mood England is in.
And in Ireland.
One of the best scenes in the entire season. So the camera work and the music are completely in sync. But I think the smartest thing about this scene is that they're applying all of this to the majority of the characters. It means that Tommy is not only an outcast from the conversation, but he's an outcast from the style being implemented. He's not a part of their world. That is what's being communicated. If you watch this without subtitles, without volume, you could still interpret what is going on in the scene once they finally cut back to Tommy.
You truly believe in the cause, Mr. Shelby?
And it cuts. So when it's finally Tommy's turn to speak, the camera doesn't move to him, it cuts. He doesn't get to take part in their cool camera work and the music. He's off in the corner, from the side, alone.
I'm here.
That's just good TV. Part of me wishes Michael wasn't in jail for most of this season. None of the other villains have been a real threat to Tommy, you know, just kind of dicks. Powerful television otherwise. 8 out of 10. Because everything is focused on Tommy this season, some characters are left by the wayside, which doesn't bother me too much, although I would certainly love more scenes of the other Blinders rather than Prohibition Skylar over here. What is an issue is tossing them into scenes like someone scrambling to finish their homework. Oh, remember Finn? No? Okay, well, he's married now. Mary, I think. Whatever. I bet you miss Linda? No? Oh, well, we haven't had a scene with a church this season, so, pew pew bitches. Episode 5 is a bit awkward. Arthur is off heroin and seems fine? This guy deals with heroin like Juno deals with a pregnancy. The referee dispute goes from boring to bloody, and it's badly shot. The focus on Arthur's faith is uninteresting. This feels like an episode 1 from a previous season airdropped in here by mistake. It even has a Radiohead song that comes out of nowhere. Oh, I love Radiohead, and it's worked for seasons prior, but that's just the thing. It's like some producer wandered in and went, dude, I'm trying to get a Blinders bingo here, and you're giving me nothing. 5 out of 10. So I'm fairly sure the cameraman is in love with this woman. With his help, they briefly turn her into the woman from Resident Evil Village. You'll see what I mean.
And 2 sites along the canal network between London, Birmingham.
Filth. How many times has this one song been used? Saying that, it's good to see him come out and really raise the stakes in this episode, but the guy needs a new hat. When he gets into a car, I was expecting him to do this.
I doubt you'll be seeing anything strange on this farm for a long time. We'll see.
This is going to be the quickest section because there's not too much I can say about this without spoiling the whole season. I'll just say that there are so many great scenes in this episode. There's the goodbye to the sun scene that's just heartbreaking. There's the scene in the armory. There's the scene between Arthur and Tommy that really shows off their ranges as performers. The season continues to look beautiful. There's a shot with Diana by a desk watching two characters, and the lighting is outstanding. I love how ominous this episode is, how it builds to the conclusion. It's the calm before the storm. And the storm, which I can best describe as a fog shootout, is fantastic. I am happy they found something entertaining to do with Tommy's new son. It's a great scene, even if Finn is really overacting. He's basically doing this.
It looks like this is it, huh? What the hell is this?
I'll just say that certain plot lines didn't quite pan out, but the main one ended wonderfully, and the last shot is sublime. I think I'm going to give this one another 8. Is this the best season so far? I don't know, but it is the season that made me feel the most. You could never mistake this season for another season of Peaky Blinders. Ladies and gentlemen, the coolest shot of this show. Not the best, but the one everyone's going to remember. That's a wallpaper.